This morning's format will be the following. I'm going to just give you a general introduction on the panel, and then each one of them will address the group for like 10 to 15 minutes about their company, the type of work their company does, the types of things that going on in the contracting market. They're all substantial NECA contractors from the San Diego area, and they are from your right to left, Jim Filanc, who is the Director of Business Development for Southern Contracting in San Marcos, California. Robert Fryer, who is the President of Chula Vista Electric in Chula Vista, California. And Brian Hudak, the President of HMT Electric here in San Diego. They all are involved in this area. They're all really know the situation here in Southern California and in this market. And we're going to start with Jim first.
Let me start off by saying that I kind of joked with Frank this morning when I walked in and said, we call this Alternative Energy Solutions Workshop. Really, this is the Renewable Energy Solutions Workshop, and even more to the point, sustainable. Sustainable is a much broader term, in that it talks about renewable energy, it encompasses energy efficiency, it encompasses energy policy, and the way we do business and live here in the United States. Let me start off by saying, if at the end of our workshop here today, we don't make you feel a little uncomfortable that you got a lot of challenges ahead of you and that you're going to walk out of here without any kind of a fire to do something differently, then we will have failed today. We're going to talk a little bit about the market itself, the size and shape of this market, to kind of give you a broad picture, and that's going to set the tone for the rest of the panel here. And then in particular, I'm going to focus on the California market, which is a microcosm of the nation. In many ways, it leads the nation. California is the world's 8th largest economy, and so the policies and things that we're going to be talking about here that are affecting the way this market is opening up are the leading edge of what's going to be happening around the rest of the nation over the next 10 to 20 years. And let me say this, I'm taking the position of a very long view. I'm not looking at bidding the next job. I'm not taking it in the survival mode. Fortunately, I've got an employer, a company that's invested in a long-term position. And after 4 years of hard work, we're finally starting to see it pay off. So I'm speaking from a contractor's perspective, and the question is, what is your role as a distributor in helping make me more successful? It's a symbiotic relationship, and we have to work together to be successful. So I'm just going to be talking from my perspective as we move forward through my few minutes here with you. So we're going to talk about the market itself, size and shape. What are the opportunities that we at Southern see opening up from our perspective? Kind of couch my discussion from your perspective. Where do you see you fitting in helping us? And that's the third point. What are your opportunities as it relates to the market we're talking about and how we're approaching it in the marketplace? The market is in transition. And as you've all seen and been reading the news for the last several years, there's several major forces that have significant overlap, but from a political perspective, sometimes they don't always work together. But in this particular market that we're in, they are converging. California, for example, again using California as a perspective here, several years ago, we implemented in the state what's called AB 32, Assembly Bill 32, which set lofty greenhouse reduction goals for the state. And doing that has a direct correlation on the use of fossil fuels and traditional sources of energy. And we're in the throes of implementing that statewide, and it has huge ramifications. I'm not going to get into the details, but let me just say this. It's into the tens of billions of dollars of investment in this state alone to meet even half of those goals. And with an inventory of 12.4 million homes and adding about 100,000 homes a year, over 460,000 businesses, buildings, there's a huge, every building's going to be touched in the state in the next 9 to 10 years. And that every time there's a building gets touched, there's an opportunity for a distributor and a contractor to play. It's just that simple, and that's just in this state alone. We're in the middle of a Great Depression, Great Recession, let me use the right word, the Great Recession. Even though they say it's over, tell that to our workers on the street. We have a lot of guys we've had to let go in the last couple of years, last 18 months. We'd love to bring them back, but we don't have the work yet. It's starting to really emerge, though. The biggest driver, though, really, is our dependence on foreign oil. The use of petroleum products produces greenhouse gas. So when you look at all of those pieces, they all have strategic movement to do something about them. Well, in the middle of all those results in projects, and those projects are what we as contractors in this industry are going after, and we have to buy materials and supplies, and that's where the opportunity lies. The question is, how are we going to all play together? This here is a smart grid roadmap developed by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and it is now under current review by the California Energy Commission. The CEC commissioned Jet Propulsion Laboratory to develop a strategic roadmap to integrate all of the renewable energy sources that are going to be emerging, known and under development with, and that's the supply side here. You have things like solar PV, you have combined heat and power, you have wind, you have geothermal. It's just all the different types of technologies that are generating projects that are in the design phases or being implemented today. And that's compared with demand. For example, charging for electric vehicles, installation or reducing your footprint for carbon so you can put solar on your building, demand response. But this whole process here, the state of California said we need to have a strategic approach and a tactical approach that mirrors that strategic approach. And the undertaking in this state is so enormous to achieve these goals that it's more than anyone can bite off in one piece. And this roadmap here is the view. If you look down here, this is actually a 10-year scale here. And so the unfolding of this market is just in the earliest stages. And let me just underscore that by just kind of giving you a general sense of the size of the market. If you just take the 12 million homes in this state that will need to be touched in one form or another, by 2020, for example, in 2020, one of the strategic goals is all new homes in the state will be net zero energy. It means they will have to have solar, they will have to be utterly efficient. You take the 12.4 million homes in the state, and if you invest in things like, not including solar, but you invest in envelope, building envelope, the insulation, advanced control lighting, simple things like replacing lights with CFLs. The automation component's a big component of that, but the estimates are from $6,000 to $10,000 per home is going to need to be invested to make the upgrades if we believe and are committed to AB 32. You take that times 12.4 million homes, just the home market alone could be a $15 to $20 billion market. That's the residential market. And almost every piece of that market has an electrical component to it. That's our electrical contractors. And therefore, one of the things we at NECA have done is said, okay, what is the role of the contractor of the future going to be? Is he going to be just a contractor bidding on something, or should he take a longer view and be an energy solutions contractor? That's the discussion that we have had at NECA for the last couple of years, and we've been gearing up our training and business development programs for our contractors to give them the option to look at and see, do you want to play? If so, here's some tools to help you. So here in California, it is a big deal, and when you look at all the components, the building component is only 35% of the market. Transportation is a huge part. Agriculture and water is a huge part. There's a huge nexus between water and energy, because every gallon of water that gets to your house has to be pumped, and it's pumped with a pump using electricity.